I Hi Muhammad. I'm 21. 21. My birthday's in August, if you want to know. You can just run nice where you're using Coolify to self-host Supabase. You can just run npm Supabase start. It will set up local Supabase. When I say self-hosting, I mean that right now, like I can show you the server for which I'm running, like on deployment. So mybookquest.com. If we look at the website as a whole, all this is basically hosted on Coolify. And when I say Coolify, I mean not the development setup. So right now the development setup is running in with the Docker engine. So you can see that it's running locally in containers. So basically my flow is I'll develop locally by running the query bun run dev. This will launch my Next.js application. And then what will happen is I will then start the Docker engine, which will supply me with my Supabase, so everything like the hosted Supabase instance. And then the production is really where I'm using all this code I made to basically push it. So like I showed in my other videos, I basically just made that each time I push to the main branch, it basically rebuilds the app. It's like, honestly, it's like Versal, but it's free. So for me, I only pay the VPS. And yes, I only pay the price of the VPS, and then Coolify is free. So I just deploy each time I have a new pull request, or I could trigger it manually. But it's pretty simple in terms of setup. I mean, you link your domains and stuff. The build is very, like, you can change a whole bunch of things, but it's pretty straightforward if you want to do it yourself. But yeah, so I'm basically using the CI/CD using Coolify, because I found out this is the best way. And I was doing this with Versal before, so I can maybe check Versal. So in the past I had, so I have a few apps on there, but as you can see, I was doing the same with Versal before, and I migrated 2 months ago to my self-hosted Coolify instance. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing in the last iteration, because I found that the costs were just enormous with using Versal, right? So I think I have a self-hosting. Yeah, I have a self-hosting sheet that compares the prices, and it's ridiculous. VPS costs. That's not it. Yeah, so I got it here. And you are self-hosting Next app 2 on Coolify. Yeah, so basically everything is self-hosted, and I made a video on that in the how much traffic can a self-hosted Next app on $5 VPS handle. Well, honestly, it pretty much depends what you're running on it. One thing I must say is when you build, so when you do a deployment, what will happen is your usage will spike. So what you want to do is either get yourself like a build server, or just make sure your VPS is strong enough. And from a traffic performance type of thing, I can show you. I have the VPS login, which I don't need to insert the password because I got the key. But basically, this is the VPS. And we can open btop so we can see. So right now this VPS has about 6 gigs of RAM, and as you can see, it's using pretty much like 3.65 gigs of RAM, and on that you have basically you have running the database, you have my Libre Translate API, you have the Next.js frontend running. So honestly, for pretty cheap, you can pretty much run this, right? And as you can see at the top corner, this is a VM with 4 CPU cores, vCPU. So it's pretty inexpensive in terms of requirements for performance. I'd say it really depends on what is this tool. So this is btop. I really like this actually. This is a tool called btop, and don't know if I can zoom in. No, I can't zoom. But you can go get it via the apt repo. So I really like this tool, honestly. It's just so beautiful. It's like an htop on steroids. Yeah, so they have it on pretty much any Linux distro. So this is what it looks like. But if you want to check it out, I'm gonna drop the link. Yeah, just do sudo apt install btop. I think you can do it. I'm not sure. Installation, binary release, sudo make uninstall. No, I'm not sure actually. I'm gonna go check out for you. It's my pleasure, man. So let me go check on the. So what you can do when you're trying to search if there's. Thank you so much, man. That really means a lot. I really thank you for that. Very appreciated. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you get content, valued content. Something I can show you is if you want to search for a specific package and check if it's on the apt repo, you can do sudo apt search, and you can just type in the name of your package. So what it's going to do is basically do a full text search across all packages available in your distro. So as you can see right now, at the top here, we see that btop is available. So you could just do, in this case, sudo apt install btop, and this would work. So feel free to use it if you want. I really like this tool. It's pretty nice. Yeah, that's it. So right now, if you're wondering, I'm just working on my request, trying to do the roadmap. Basically making it so that people can vote on what the next feature they want is. So I'm working on that currently. And right now, I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, that's what I did. So I need to do this, otherwise no. Alright, then same thing for the other one. This, I'm gonna say ideas, like that. Right, thoughts on Next.js 15? Honestly, Next.js 15, I've looked at it through a video made by Fireship. So I know there's a lot of things going on with the caching. So more control towards like how you can cache your stuff. So you can tell basically the engine when do you want to cache and not cache, because if you need to revalidate some paths, that's really important. But I suggest, if you want good video, I suggest going to YouTube and Fireship. Yeah, so basically it's the use cache. It's the use cache that's pretty nice. Oh, is it Fireship? I'm not sure if it's Fireship. But I saw a video of, I think, of Fireship doing it. There's a whole bunch of YouTubers doing it, talking about Fireship, talking about Next.js 15. But yeah, basically the key feature I extracted from people talking about it is basically, yeah, the use cache. So the use cache on top of API routes calling. Then you're gonna have another thing, which is the turbo. So I'm already using turbo for basically my repo and local. So I'll use next space dev dash dash turbo, which is only available for dev. And I'm pretty sure this is just because Versal wants to sell more of their servers, which makes it faster. Achieving the speed at which Versal deploys your app in terms of like build time is pretty much impossible if you're doing it self-hosted, because like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff they're not telling you in terms of best practices for deploying your faster on a V. Now, as you can see, my deployment speed is about 200 seconds, I think. Sometimes, yeah, it really depends. So sometimes, yeah, so it could take a few minutes depending on the load and the internet speed and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, the use cache, the turbo is gonna be upgraded, I think. And another thing, I think is gonna be they talked about something where, yeah, it's business secrets, yeah. So I mean, it's in their whole interest to keep it closed, because if they talk about it, like, people are just gonna start optimizing next level in terms of speeds, and then you render Versal useless, which is not something that is profitable for them. Yeah, I didn't know about the. Yeah, I think that's the thing with the async. I'm sure I saw Fireship do a video on that. Next.js 15, Fireship. I'm sure I saw. I'm sure I saw Fireship do a YouTube video on that. Let's do at Fireship, or maybe it's Beyond Fireship. I know he has a second channel. Yeah, so this is it. Let me pause the music.
Make sure to remove the use cache directly from the top. Then we'll extract the price UI and programming is that we only have one joke, and it's not very funny, but there is some truth in the original joke, and that's the fact that cache.
Yeah, that's the music. That's the video.
Framework is the poster child for these modern challenges. A few weeks ago, Vercel released Next.js 15, and it comes with all kinds of awesome new features, like tools to automatically migrate code.
Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. The next async request API. That's the thing.
Tools to automatically migrate code, a faster TurboPack dev server, and a new API to run code in the background after a request is complete. But the biggest change is that they totally.
Yeah, so they're. Yo, Adam. What's up? Let's go. Yeah, I was looking at the for Muhammad. We were talking about the Next.js 15 release by Versal. And they're doing partial, yeah, so partial pre-rendering. But all this all this cache, they're basically like putting a new layer of cache that wasn't existing before. And I mean, obviously this is gonna be optimized for Versal servers because like with their edge network and stuff. And like I'm using all the best practices on Coolify, so in the deployments it's gonna take about 400 to 500 seconds. But you can see that when I was deploying with Versal, the build times were that actually passed. So let's check only the build times that passed. So yeah, 4 minute 30. Oh, so it's pretty on point. It's pretty on point. Okay, so we're getting pretty much the same build times, but as you can see here, it was 1 minute 26. I mean, 1 minute, but this is practically unachievable if you're doing it via a VPS like I'm doing. So I mean, at this point, it's pretty much like how much can you optimize your app to make it less hard to compile. So in my case, I like just looking at the logs and just seeing where the bottleneck is. So if we do it like from the start, you can see that it's just gonna use the right here the Docker, and basically this is doing the build on my remote server. So I also have a remote server that is getting called when I do the build, just to not pump out all the resources from the main server, which serves the user, because otherwise it's just gonna put them down and there's no way like they're gonna be able to use the app. And then it's gonna do all the stuff. It's using Nix packs to build it. You can see using Node.js 18, npm install, all that basic stuff. And then you start doing the Docker file. So basically you're specifying the driver, and then after that you're pulling all the base image from Railway, it seems, which I'm not sure where it's coming from. Railway, I think Railway basically owns Nix packs, which is like an extension to build Next.js that they might use on their own servers. So Railway is basically like the same thing as Versal, but they also have other things like Postgres DBs and stuff. But as you can see, like we have a detailed log by seconds. What's the bottleneck? And right now this is all pretty fast. Like it's 716, 716, 717. Let's go down a bit just to look at what takes a lot of time. So we have this here. I didn't quite get what's the thing that's taking so long. Yeah, but basically like there's so much things that need to be done, and like they're optimizing their own servers, which is okay, honestly. Like if you want to have the best experience and you're a big enterprise and you don't care about the price, I mean it's really well done. But for myself, I like playing with hardware and like self-hosting stuff, so that's also why I made my channel like about this, because I really like this. Nice, I should start using Coolify. Yeah, sure, you can. I have a video actually on the not the Google account, the chat on the channel. Well, I have a few. So I have this one, which is pretty popular actually. It's my most viewed video on the channel. And it's basically ultimate Coolify guide, which in this video I show you like how you can migrate Supabase to a self-hosted Supabase, which is going to be on Coolify also. And then how you can migrate your full-on Next.js app that was hosted on Versal to Coolify. And then at this point, the only bottleneck is pretty much the size of your VPS. Because after that, it's pretty much done once it's done. So I've installed it like 2 months ago and I never touched it again. The only thing I'm doing is doing periodic backups, just making sure that I'm safely backed up and I can go back up if something goes wrong, which is important. But honestly, it's pretty. The rest is pretty much straightforward. And as you can see, I'm hosting another Cloud Translate API there, Supabase, S3 backup. So doing this, and in this one, I also did. Basically, I set up my self-hosted S3 buckets, which I have on this server of mine. And I'm running some AI tasks, but basically I do backup on the server. And it allows me to like have double redundancy where I don't think the VPS server would fail, but I think it's just good practice to have another backup source, and I can show you how I set it up. But basically, what's gonna do, you go to your Supabase, just like that, and then you go at the bottom, you click backups, just like that, and then you have the backup. Oh, so basically this one, yeah, because I did a migration earlier today, so I think the backup did not succeed, but as you can see, the other did. And what it's gonna do is basically create a Postgres dump file, which you can then reuse to restore. And it's basically connected to the S3 storage I specified, which I have multiple. So I'm doing it basically daily just to make sure. And basically your point of failure is really like the amount of data you're gonna lose is the between the two periods you're doing your backups, right? So if you were ready to lose 24 hours of data, maybe once a day is all right. But if like you're a bigger company and like you have like big traffic and stuff, it's a bit like you could do it once, I don't know, each hour or something. What about scaling? So scaling is honestly it's pretty nice. So they basically have a feature where you can add servers, and you can have like redundancy and multi-tenant. You can also set up like Kubernetes where it just scales as you need to like scale your next server. So this is really well thought of, and I think this guy is just one dude who did the all the framework by itself. So that's pretty nice. But they have nice docs if you want to use to see it. So Coolify.io, but they have a good documentation on how you can scale it. So let's go. Is it scalability? So yeah, like I said, scalability, you have different choices, but what I would do if I were you is basically add servers, and then after that you can scale. Because you gotta remember that all this fancy stuff, like even Versal and stuff, what they do is basically containerize everything you're doing. So like for Coolify is the same thing. Everything behind is just Docker, and Docker is like it's made to scale. The whole goal of Docker is to scale. So like you could create 1,000 Docker containers of Nginx and just like ping them at the same time and let them scale just by load balancing and stuff. Yeah, I have everything covered. I mean, it's pretty much a one-stop shop, and I think that's why the video did so well, right? Because 7,000 views is the most popular video I've ever made. Yeah, so I think it's if people liked it, I mean, I'm pretty happy to share it. I also did a post. Do you guys want to see how I generated vector embeddings with PG Vector for my request, book recommendation algorithm? So this is a whole another thing that like I could get into. where I could show you guys how I made some self-hosted like AI RAG application on my servers, and generating embeddings basically for my database. And I can show you what I mean by embeddings. So basically, an embedding is basically a vector in a graph. So basically, let's do a little paint. So what happens with a vector database is that you're gonna have multiple axes. So just to simplify it, we're just gonna do 2 axes just to start. So just like that. So this is a 2 axes database. Okay. I know I'm actually. Oh, okay. So you already know what a vector database is. Okay, so that's right. That's right. I'll just do some little drawing just to. Okay, I'll keep it in case someone else asks how it worked. Yeah, so I don't know if you've done this, but what I did is basically, I can show you the schema. Also shown to people how I do partitions, so how I speed up databases. Because the thing is, if you look at this this database, it's pretty huge. Okay. Yeah, so basically we can do it like that, where you have x and y, and you could have, so let's say you have this vector. Let's do them in colors. So I have this vector. I then have this one. Why it's changing colors, I don't know. Then we have this vector. That's gonna be purple. What index are you using? I'm using HNSW because I'm using the PGAI extension, and basically when I do select Olama embed, like I can show you. So basically this is an example I did. So I have the title of a book, and then I have the embedding of the title, which is the corresponding value in a vector format, 768 dimension vector format. And then what I do is I basically do the cosine distance between the generated vector, which the generated vector function is basically just it's basically just calling my local server for Olama, and basically just embedding the value of the title to of the input to basically compare it to titles. So I use select at ai.olama embed, and I'm using nomic embed text fp16. So I can actually show you if you want, like in lifetime, what happens. If it's something that interests you, I can definitely do a small demo. But like right now we could test it where, so what I'm saying is basically check out the titles and matching with their title embeddings, obviously, where the title embedding is not null, and where the language of the book is in English. And then I pass, okay, so let me do it then. So then I pass to the generate vector function, which takes text in its argument. I pass basically just a sentence, so it could be one word or just a sentence. Give power back to the people and make sure they can earn money. So this is a random quote I just put there. And what I do is I basically embed it. So I can show you right now. So let's say I go to my, this is my server. And as you can see, I have 3 GPUs. So I have a NVIDIA P106. I have a 2080 Super and a 2070 Super. So what I can do is basically show you. I could run this query just by using psql. psql, just like that. So then I could do just this. So select generate vector, and what this is gonna do is basically generate a vector for this specific text. And as you can see, it triggers a workload right here. It's loading the model in any GPU. Seems like the format is kind of fucked. Let me execute it here. It's gonna be simple. So as you can see, it's pretty fast, but generating that vector of 768. So then what I do is I do that for each title. And the title embedding as a SW index, so that I can retrieve them faster. So let's run that query. I'm still optimizing it because it's gonna take about 8 seconds, 8-9 seconds. It's not the fastest, but I'm still working on it. I also did like another 20 million rows. I'm not even sure if I have an index right now on it, actually. Let me go in properties. Yeah, I don't even have an index right now on this. Let me just check it out. Yeah, so I might add an index actually, just to speed it up, because right now it's just very slow. Where's the script? I made a script to add the I'll check this out later, but yeah, so basically, sure, can this Olama extension be installed in the Supabase instance? So that's the thing. So I'll just start the music back up. Tell me if it's too loud. So basically the problem is that this PGI version only supports Postgres 16, and that's why I wanted to do a video with Supabase specifically where I can just like show it to you guys. But this is a separate database that runs on PG16. And Supabase right now only supports PG15, which I don't know why. Because the compatibility is pretty much at like the same level. So right now they don't allow it. If you go look in the Supabase, if you go to supabase.com, and on their website, they just don't allow this extension. So I think it's in database. Let's do restore because I don't have pro. But basically, if you want to add an extension, both on the self-hosted and hosted version, it's pretty simple. You just go to database, then extension. So I'm just gonna wait for this to be restored. But yeah, maybe the result is, yeah, it's not over because there's so many rows right now. I need to create an index because right now it's gonna take a long time. But PGI has done one. Timescale has done one. So it's called so Timescale DB is the ones who made the video to explain this, which you can check out if you want. It's this one, yeah. So this guy is pretty good, and he has a full like he did a GitHub repository, so we can check with him. Is it this one? Yeah, I'm not sure if it's this one actually. Launch blog posts. Hi Noah, what's up? Get timescale. I don't think it's that one. Oh, it's this one. Timescale release the PGI made open source. Yeah, they make all their extensions open source. And even timescale is open source. Timescale has really been a good resource to me. I really love I really love what they're doing with the project. So this is the post they did, but basically they show you how to create indexes, and they have a lot of blogs, articles, which explain why each index is better than the other depending on your use case. So I just want to see how they made their how they created their index. Yeah, let me check. They also have all the slides, which is pretty nice. PostgreSQL, they explain like embeddings, what's the different types of embeddings, why you would use embeddings, should you use it for RAG, test2SQL agents, when's the best time to use them. They explained the 3 main extensions. So they did PGAI, but they also did PG Vector Scale, which is awesome. They show you how to install it, demo time, vector search. So they're basically telling you why you should use each index. And yeah, so I said I was using HNSW. This is before. But right now I'm using the streaming disk ANN. Also, this is the. All these cameras like that. Yeah, because Pinecone is good, but it's just the way they market it. They tell you it's like the best solution and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, Postgres, like it's the same thing. Like at the end of the day, people want to be fancy. So what happens is, I don't know if you've ever seen SQL meme. So there's basically an SQL meme like running around just with a curve where like there's just like a bell curve. There's just like a bell curve of like this for SQL. And basically it says that at the beginning you start using SQL, then you encounter like NoSQL database at the top, and then when you drop down you finally realize that SQL is like the best way. Yeah, exactly. Like PostgreSQL is open source, which is I'm a really big advocate for that. So I mean, for me it's a pretty important thing that like it can do a lot of things, so then I don't have to basically like play with so many things, which is a loss of time, honestly, because each time you change your tech stack you lose time, and that's what people don't realize is each time you basically use a different library that you didn't use before. Hello, do you plan the video? Hello, do you plan the video how to secure the deployment next with Supabase on Coolify? Yeah, so basically, how to secure it, when you say like SSL and firewalls and stuff, if you can precise on that, I can help you. I'm just creating the index right now. Disk ANN, and it's going to be on title embedding. Like that. All right. Searching. Starting non-labeled search list. Okay, Noah, excited to see you streaming. Thank you so much. I have a question about resumable uploads in Supabase and would appreciate your help. For sure, let's go. How can I help you? The self-hosted one on Coolify. Okay. Yep. Let's go with projects. What's the problem? Supabase. Muhammad, I can answer you. Are you using state management libraries in your app? Are you storing users' odd details in a global state? If so, are you managing GWT expiry? So basically what I'm using for the app is, let me go to API, then we have auth callback. So what I'm using is basically creating a route handler. And basically when they log in, they receive, basically gonna generate a code which they can exchange for a session token, which is gonna be stored in the layout of the app by the client layout, which the client layout provides the session. It's basically a Supabase context. But yeah, I'm using the auth callback and then exchange code for session. On the dashboard, I can't upload file more than if I set up ttus on my client, the upload failed because the origin URL has changed. So you say that when you're going on Coolify, you can't upload more than 6 megabytes. Is that it? On the dashboard, I can't upload file more than 6 megabytes. That's kind of weird. Is there maybe a setting for that? Storages. So what would be your flow? Like, where would you upload that file? Where would you go to upload that file? Because actually, I don't think I've ever uploaded a file. On the... Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you so much. I'll see you around. Oh, so you mean uploading... I use Uppy to upload with reasonable dates on Supabase, but when I moved to self-hosted, there was no more opportunity for that. Struggled a lot, then just moved to classic Supabase upload with Post. I heard of an error like that. Maybe I can go check. Supabase. No, that's not it. It's Supabase at request.com. Let me go look on my self-hosted side if I can. Have you checked the logs? If you can, go check the logs. It's gonna tell you some things you might want to know. But sometimes buckets might have environment variables you might need to set. You can't upload the file more than 6 megabytes. Do you mean on the bucket? So if you go to storage and you then try to upload to a bucket, is that it? Okay, so it's when you go, okay. So first thing I would do, I'd go to the Supabase, Supabase repo. Then go Supabase, and the basically the bucket is gonna be not the bucket, basically the package you're gonna want to see is the storage bucket. I know they have the sense that work on the option, but not on the hosted one. Okay. Storage. Yeah, so it's right here. So it's basically storage and Postgres doc storage. And you need to check the supported protocols. So they got all those protocols. So you need to check the environment variables because this might be it. So let's check the Docker Compose. You see here? You see those things? Upload file size limit. So this is probably your thing. You need to add those environment variables probably to the environment file. I'm pretty sure this is gonna fix your problem. Tell me if you try that. Actually, I kind of want to know. So you tried setting those variables? And have you checked the logs of the Docker containers? Because what you can do is come to your Supabase, click logs, then you go to Supabase storage, stream logs, and then you could just take that and put it into JSON parser. Not sure if you've tried that. So go try that if you didn't. All right. If you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them. Need help or something. All right. So while we don't have any questions, I'll just work on my startup. Hidden block. Well, I can send you the image of the error, but try adding any big file you'll see. Okay, let's try that. What do I have here that's big? I can. Okay, so that is 81 meg. So let me add it. Let's do it right now. Originated from error. Failed to upload one file. It seems that you're right. Doesn't work. Let me go check at the what's the log? In your video, you make your Supabase DB and set 5433 port to connect, and it really works. Now I'm really thinking more about safety. Can we connect from Next.js to Supabase DB with localhost? Oh, you mean can you connect to your database with localhost 5433 when you're on the website? No, they can't. So basically, I said it in the video, but exposing your whole database to the internet is a terrible idea. So what it suggests is putting it beyond a reverse proxy like Cloudflare tunnels and stuff, just to make sure it's secure, or either accessing via SSH. Yeah, so Postgres, you should put it behind a reverse proxy, or either beyond a firewall, just in case like someone tries to access it. That could like brute force it. So like if you don't have security behind it, I would suggest just putting it behind a firewall or behind a reverse proxy like ngrok, or just Cloudflare tunnels, which is free. And basically it's just gonna make sure it's gonna be more safer for your data. Looking at your I'm looking at your error right now, Noah. So 1029. So this is old stuff. Okay. Minio, this is good. 1029. Let's look at the DB. Okay, that's not it. Maybe it's a crate bucket. Okay. Let me check. Can't upload file. Bumping. I think you're not the only one who's experiencing that. Okay, so all get methods are resolved under. I got back to my office and tried to upload again out routes correctly to my LAN IP. My M values are site URL additional supervised public URL. Okay, kind of weird. Let's look at the error. So let's try re-uploading. there's not even details of what's happening. That's kind of weird. It seems that the request won't even pass, which is weird. But let's see if I try to upload a small file, if it works. So as you can see, a small file works, like you said. And this file is about 16K. Yeah, so about 16K. So let's see if I go with something a bit bigger then. 11 megs. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So basically what you would want to do is connect to the database locally. So you have it on your VPS, and then you just put the connection locally, which you could do. You would just have to get the IP of the Docker container, which should be something like 172.0. something. And then you could just pass the port, expose it like locally. You don't need to expose it to the host, but expose it to the Docker container and just connect. I think this could work. Yeah, it's just that after, if you need to access it from another external point, you might not be able to do so. So this VNC viewer is 11.8 megs. VNC. It's my pleasure, Noah. Don't hesitate if you have something else. But yeah, I really think the problem is with the 6 megabytes, like you said. And one thing I also encountered in the past, which might be related to this, but there's actually a setting you can change in the package.json, which allows you to specify the size. It's something like API. Yeah, API. Then you do API, and then you do something like this. And then you have a whole bunch of stuff you can change, like body size and stuff. This could be it. Let me check with what I can do is try to do just like this and type 6 megabytes. Data, features, issues. So as you can see here, 6 megabytes, 6 megabytes. And those are all still open. So I honestly don't even think they could fix that issue. I believe you have to request access for this at the moment. At least I'm not seeing anything. Because this is a major update, we're rolling out users right now. Let's see. I added it. Didn't have to include storage. Terminal. Then add the host part. Then set it to domain. There's a configuration for. have you tried this? Thanks, but do I need to make the DB port something special? Like set it in compose file, or can I connect it to via Docker IP? You could connect via the Docker container ID, but you need to make sure the port is exposed, which you can check out in if you go to configuration and you go to edit file, you search Postgres, and there's a lot of Postgres stuff. But in here you could basically change the host name and change the Postgres port if you want to expose another port. But by default, the exposed port for Postgres is going to be the 5432. Let's look at the Supabase / Postgres. So as you can see, it's exposing port 5432 to 5432, but you could change this and put it to 7. I mean, it doesn't change anything, it's just the exposed port is going to be different. So then you're going to be able to connect to it. What you can do is basically, you could connect to it just by doing something like Notepad. You could do something like 542, just like that. Just make sure it's always running, because otherwise you're gonna be seeing problems. And to see the ports that are running, what you could do is docker ps let me reconnect. So you have a whole bunch of stuff here, but basically what you could do is run docker ps, then run a grep command. So grep Supabase db, and you can see that we have right here we have the 2 databases that are running. So I have 2, one for testing stuff and the other for my production database. So then you see that the port is forwarded on the IP at the host. So this is the network adapter of the VPS. So this is accessible. It's behind passwords and stuff, so there's no way I could get hacked because the database has a super encrypted password. But yeah, so you could change the ports as you wish. It's really not you don't have a limit of which port you can change. I don't know if you're still there, Noah, but I found this thing here where they're changing things in the Kong.yml. So you can maybe try that. If you go to storages, consumer dashboard username, let's check config. So this is the Kong. Kong.yml. Let's check the Kong.yml. Real time 98 webhooks. Okay. So this is gonna be the Kong.yml. And then it says West. So let's check this. Name odd v1 open. Odd v1 rest GraphQL ACL real-time storage. So we have this here, and it says request transformer. Request and add headers. Let's try adding this. Config add headers, forwarded. So let's do this. Interesting thing, I said ports and I really can connect to DB from Coolify locals, but when I try to change my Postgres URL in the next app, I have problems. Well, the problem is gonna be that, so I could make something up for you. Let me I'll just keep that here. So something you could try. Let me do paint. Let's do paint 3D. So I'm gonna explain to you how I would do it if I was at your place. So what you could do is, because basically what happens is when you do, when you have your DB, so imagine this is your DB, and you have your client. So let's actually move this. Let's move this here. Okay. So when you have your DB, then you have your client here. Imagine this is like a Earth. So what happens is, with Next.js, what would happen is you have your API server, the backend of Next.js, which the front end does a call to it, and then after that it does a call to the database. Okay, but the thing is that when you do that, it's gonna first go look for where the API server is done. It's gonna do a server request. So right now you're gonna be on the server. So imagine you have your VPS, and then you have a client. So imagine that this is the API gateway. So what will happen is the client is gonna hit that, and then only then the API will go hit the database. So the only thing I'm concerned about is, since I never tried it, is will the database try to be resolved from the API that is called from the client? Meaning that what will happen if, let's say, can I just remove all that? Because if the API, if the client tries to resolve, let's say your Docker at 5432, this doesn't mean anything to him. Okay, so he doesn't know what is that container, right? It doesn't know like what to do with this. Instead, what will happen if it's doing that on the server? It's gonna work. So it's gonna try to do it on the server and access that, and then he's gonna know the reference to this. But you're just gonna make sure that it's trying to do the request at the good server, so the right server. So you just need to check in your logs. So what you could do is try to run it in local and look like where it's trying to get that Docker server, So you could run your Next.js app and then use your remote database and check it, check if it works basically with Next.js. And that's the reason why I'm using like a public database, because also I need to be able to fetch from it for other sakes on the internet. It needs to be public for me, so depending on your use case, this might be a good idea or not. So you really need to check this out. All right, sorry for that. So like I was saying, is when you're trying to, okay, so you could try that, but honestly, tell me if it worked. If you, like, in the next live or in a video, you can tell me if it did something. I could do a tutorial on it. It's my pleasure, man. Hope it helped you. So I might try this fix right now. Forwarded. I'm just gonna have to wait for the database to come back up to test this. Supabase gone. Nope. Plugins add in headers in N32 over there's expected string. Okay. Little error here. Let's restore those. forwarded. Forwarded. Don't know if you're still there, Noah, but I think this could be a path. Can you send UTL of that issue? Yeah, I can send it. It's there's a lot of things, but I think the main problem is in the Kong version. Some people say to downgrade to 1.9.1, which is something you could use. I could do it right now, actually. I could try it right now. If I go to Kong Supabase storage. That's not the API. So I'll first try with the forwarded stuff. Let me try that. Free question form. Storage. Question form. Let me try it like that, see if it works. Let me try it. Load files. It's already getting errors. What's the error? Block mix content. Failed to upload. Okay, did I restart the... Let me try to restart once again the Supabase Kong. No, but it's just storage I need to restart. Storage. Start. Storage is 1.10. I'm trying to find this here. I don't know which version they're right now on the Supabase storage. So I restarted the storage just to see if it's gonna work. Let's try that. Try uploading. So still not working. Let's go see the images on the Docker hub. Is it the storage API tags? Oh, that might be it, yeah. So I think it says if you drop down the storage API to something lower, v1.0.6. So they said going from for us to find a downgrade to 1.9.1. Let's try 1.9.1. Do they even have one? Okay, so they have 1.9.1. Let me try with 1.9.1. I'll restart those services. So both containers started. Let's refresh. Alright, so they're back. Oh, you said I pasted the wrong thing. Well, I put v1.9.1. Hi Cinnamon Roll. What is up? Maybe here I put no, I think I got it right. Service LT. Seems like the storage is down. I'll try to force it to start. Solar Buddy. Actually, let me do docker ps dash all dash grep. It's gonna be storage. Storage API. It's up. Alright, it's up. So let's do storage stream logs. So what are the logs? So I think the problem, I saw a lot of people complaining about that, but the problem is that it's basically trying to hit the local host. And that's the other thing I was talking to you about on the paint like earlier, is the problem is that when you try to resolve an IP address from the browser, is you're not connected to the VPS. So localhost like 5000 doesn't give it anything for a client using it. So right now, if I try to upload something, it's gonna try calling the Docker container, which doesn't exist on my machine. Arriving, like you can see here. Yeah, and it's ultimately gonna fail because I don't know why it seems to be trying to just ping like the localhost, which is kind of weird. Kong doesn't do anything, it seems. Splint. Toss URL path. This is something you could also try, the toss URL path. Oh, it's already set as the upload resumable. Is that in bytes? Do you know if this is in bytes? Not sure. Would that make sense? Because I think the limit is, or maybe that is in bytes or in kilobytes. Oh no, it should be in bytes. Yeah, that would be half a byte. Half a gigabyte. Why wouldn't it work then? Localhost. try doing it again just to see in the total time taken for one file. Mix content. The page at was loaded over HTTPS, but the requested and secure XML HTTP request. This request has been blocked. The content must be served over HTTPS. That's weird. Seems like it's using the HTTP upload resumable. Maybe if I specify the protocol. The problem is that it's resolving it locally. Where did you change it? Is it in the... You change it in the Docker Compose? Location, upgrade and secure requests. It seems he's getting the same error here. Kong proxy listen. Production.